I knew something was wrong the second I saw that tow truck idling across the street, waiting for my lights to go out. There's a special kind of chill when you realize someone's just waiting for you to let your guard down. You know what I mean? That night, one car vanished before sunrise, then another by dawn, and by noon, the third was gone too. I stood there barefoot on the cold concrete, coffee cooling in my hands, just staring at an empty driveway like maybe I'd lost my mind, or maybe I was dreaming. Except I wasn't, because all that was left was silence and 3 empty spaces where everything I'd worked for used to be. All gone without a single knock, warning, or even a lousy phone call. Just a quiet erasure. And I'll never forget the feeling of watching your whole life get towed away, one piece at a time. The HOA sent me some nonsense about parking compliance, but my car wasn't even in violation. Hell, I'd followed every rule, and somehow, my car became the bait. The more I pushed for answers, the more I felt them circling, making me the problem for daring to question them. Ever felt like someone was trying to erase you on purpose? Yeah, that was me that morning, staring at the spot where my Mustang had been parked, feeling like maybe it would just show back up if I blinked enough. Instead, all I found was this thin white paper, taped to a lamppost, with 3 cold words: violation, improper parking, no phone number, no apology, just an accusation and a dare to prove them wrong. I tried to call anyone who would listen. My hands shook so badly I dropped my phone on the curb, and neighbors started peeking through their blinds like I was about to snap. Over 200 grand in vehicles, all gone before I'd even finished my coffee, and all I had were these stupid little violation slips. When I finally reached Doug Helms from the HOA, he hit me with that professional voice that makes your teeth itch, you know the kind. Sir, if your vehicles were towed, they must have been in violation. We don't make mistakes here. He told me to contact Urban Tow Partners. That's when it all clicked, and honestly, I almost laughed, because the joke was on them. I own that company. Through Carter Mobility Group. 8 years, and not once had I used that power for myself. But today, it felt like the universe had handed me a script. So I took my old work truck down to the impound lot and found Marcus, my night supervisor, just finishing his paperwork. Boss, what are you doing here? The confusion on his face was priceless. He pulled up the orders and shook his head. 3 vehicles, same address, and all the paperwork claimed the decals were expired, but his guys saw them right there on the windshields. Authorization came in as an urgent priority, signed by both Doug and Denise Harwood, with a little note saying expedited removal required. I started digging through records and saw the pattern. The addresses they hit the hardest all belonged to people who'd challenged the HOA, folks who'd dared to question a fee hike or showed up at a meeting with too many questions. My address had just made the list. That night, a neighbor, Na Brooks, 2 doors down, confirmed it for me while I helped fix her daughter's bike. They're getting worse since Denise took over, she whispered. I've been documenting everything. Someone needs to stand up to them. That's when I realized this wasn't about 1 car, or even 3. It was about sending a message. Within 3 days, the violations piled up. My garbage cans out too long. My lawn, over regulation height. My cars too shiny. I scrolled the 100-page HOA handbook at midnight, desperate for logic, but found nothing but pettiness. Every morning, a letter landed on my doormat at 7 a.m. sharp, like clockwork. It felt less like enforcement and more like ritual humiliation, like they wanted to break me before I'd even finished moving in. Saturday was supposed to be my son's birthday party, just family and a couple friends, cake and games in the backyard. At 4:30, Doug walked past my house, phone out, snapping photos like some kind of low-rent spy. 10 minutes later, a tow truck barreled down the street, hydraulic arms grabbing my sister's minivan, then my mom's Lexus, then my cousin's pickup, each tagged with a 24-hour violation. Kids scattered, balloons popped, and within minutes, video of the chaos was all over the community app. 7 vehicles towed from a child's birthday party, nearly $3 grand in fees. My son cried. My wife went silent, and I just watched, humiliated. That was the point, you see, to make an example out of me for daring to ask where our money was going. After that, things escalated fast. Anonymous emails went out to the whole neighborhood. Within hours, my phone buzzed nonstop, stories from neighbors who'd been targeted, fined, towed for the tiniest violations. Na had video proof. Doug slapping violation stickers on cars less than a minute after they parked. It wasn't enforcement. It was war. The next HOA meeting was standing room only. Denise and Doug tried to act in control, but the room turned on them. People stood and shared stories. One old man said they towed his car during his wife's funeral. You could hear his voice crack from the back row. The emergency board meeting was even wilder. My neighbor Nina, live streaming to hundreds, called them out on state law, forcing them to let us in. Denise went red as a tomato. Board members argued. And then Officer Reyes from the local precinct showed up in uniform, demanding all towing records for review. What Reyes found made everyone's jaw drop. Work orders for made-up addresses, fake license plates, vehicles allegedly towed multiple times in 1 month. You've been billing for fake tows? The young board member's voice trembled with anger. Nina's camera rolled as the whole thing unraveled on live stream. Comments flying in from across the country. Now, this is where it gets cinematic. That night, I laid out every towing invoice from the last 2 years, highlighting every pattern, every fake signature, every address added to the problem residents list. I set up a honeypot, parked my Honda Civic perfectly, permits up to date, dashcam hidden, GPS tracker ready. Thursday night, the car got towed. Dashcam caught Doug himself placing a violation, snapping a photo, then pocketing the slip before calling for the tow truck. Caught on tape muttering, "This'll teach him to question us." My lawyer smiled when I showed him. Our contract with the HOA had a clause, 10 grand penalty for every illegal tow without resident complaint. I had 11 on my property alone. Monday morning, I walked into the board meeting, laid out the evidence, screenshots, dashcam audio, the contract, the numbers. I told them I was the CEO and owner of Urban Tow Partners. The look on Denise's face. Man, if I could bottle that and sell it, I'd never work another day. Officer Reyes walked in right on cue as I handed over the USB drive. Audio, video, forged orders, money trails leading straight back to Denise and Doug. The meeting turned into a public reckoning. Residents shouted, people cried, board members flipped through records, realizing they'd been complicit in a criminal conspiracy. $48,000 in towing reimbursements last quarter, but if half those tows never happened, where did the money go? Fraud, kickbacks, embezzlement. It all came spilling out. A vote passed, suspending all towing activities pending investigation. For the first time, I saw relief on people's faces. But I wasn't done yet. I called in state auditors and laid out every document. Fake ledgers, payments to shell companies owned by Doug's relatives, $50,000 to Denise's Consulting LLC, 17 suspicious payments, $120,000 in a secret account. People stood and told their stories. A veteran whose van got towed, a mom who lost her job after her car disappeared, a little girl crying at midnight when her family's car was taken. The stories weren't about money. They were about fear, humiliation, and a broken trust that would take years to rebuild. By the end of the week, Denise and Doug were arrested, their photos splashed across the Denver Post. Headlines screaming, HOA fraud uncovered. The woman board member took over as interim president, promising full transparency. I found out the HOA didn't even own the clubhouse parking lot. It was up for sale, and I bought it out from under them for less than market value. My offer to the new board: lease the lot for $1 a year, but only if towing could never again be weaponized against residents. Every case had to be reviewed by committee, 3 warnings, full documentation, resident appeals. The final blow came at the trial. Video of Doug planting fake violations, audio of him threatening my drivers, paper trails of stolen funds. Denise and Doug got real prison time and were ordered to work 500 hours at a towing yard, the same work they used to torment us. Maybe even at Urban Tow Partners, if you can believe that. People framed photos of Denise's face when the sentence dropped. It became a joke, a warning, and a relief, all in one. 3 months later, Willowbrook was a different place, transparent, fair, with real oversight and trust. Property values went up. People held parties again. Kids played in the streets without fear. I donated my refunded towing fees to a neighborhood fund for families who'd been hit hardest. The irony, of course, was that they tried to use my own company to break me, and handed me the very tool I needed to burn their little empire down. 6 months on, Denise sent me a letter, part of her sentence, some therapy thing. She apologized. Maybe she meant it, maybe not. I kept the letter, just in case I ever forgot how easy it is for power to rot even the smallest corners of our lives. Looking back, that first empty driveway feels like another world, like the second before the storm when everything seems normal and you don't know what's coming. But sometimes it only takes one stubborn person with the receipts to tip the balance. If you're still with me, I want to know, what would you have done in my shoes? If this story hit home, or just hit a nerve, hit that thanks button or drop a comment. Tell me, where's the line between order and tyranny in your neighborhood? Because the real lesson here? Never pick a fight with someone who owns the battlefield and the rule book. And always keep your receipts.